This stream is driven by NordVPN, the leading VPN to protect your online activity. Safeguarding your identity and data is as important as ever, and NordVPN's threat protection feature can guard you from malware, ads, malicious sites, and trackers. NordVPN allows you to virtually place yourself in over 59 countries worldwide with access to over 5,500 servers, all while maintaining purple sector speeds over the competition. NordVPN also provides extra features compared to other similar services such as no bandwidth or data limits, highest industry speeds, allowing 6 simultaneous connections, and no data logging. Also interested in password management or cloud data storage? Well, NordPass and NordLocker have you covered there too. Check out NordVPN using our link nordvpn.com/AFR with a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee and use code AFR to get 1 month extra free.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome on in to round 2 of AFR's Radical Challenge. We are at Road America this evening, and currently we are looking at Captain Foxy in second place to Charlie Lamberson, who is currently on pole, but still very early on with 10 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. We are currently going to be looking out to see who can take the win this evening. Now, in case you don't know, we are currently on a sprint weekend, so that will mean that once qualifying is complete, this grid order will be reversed, and it will be at the moment Charlie Lambertson starting in last position, and then of course Juniper will take the pole, but Juniper just coming across the line now. Looks like an invalidated time there, 2:24.1989, but didn't go to the timing boards as Charlie Lamberson has just gone on to set the fastest sector 1, so beating his personal best as of right now. Now, of course, one to look out for this evening is Axel Osterberg. He took the win last time out in what were controversial circumstances. Of course, we had a server restart which brought Charlie right back into it, and it was only by about 4/10 Axel took the win. So Charlie will be looking for a bit of comeback here, but of course one of the new guys has come in from last week that was supposed to attend but has made his way very kindly this week is Captain Foxy. He is currently second fastest on the board with 8.5 minutes to go. Everybody on soft tyres for this qualifying session. And Charlie taking a personal best through Sector 2. We're just going to keep on board with the Norwegian driver. No. I don't know if that's actually correct. No, sorry, I will come back to you on that one. But anyway, Lambertson coming to the line now. And what is the time going to be? It needs to be a 2:27. That is his personal best. No, 2:07, beg your pardon. And it is going to be 0.6 faster. So that is a 2:07.122 there. As then Foxy comes to the line very next moment. And there you go, of course, the second screen there on the left-hand side of the time box. Axel down on his PB in both sectors, so this will not be the fastest time. As, of course, this HUD is brought to you by CMRT. Thank you very much to the team there for providing people with this. But anyway, Giovanni, of course, joining us this week as well. Wasn't one of the 6 in Brands Hatch last week, so 2 new drivers, but the rest are from last week. And Axel straight into the pits there. As we now look at Juniper, who did not finish the feature race last round, struggled with a very slidey car, and she likes to set up the cars in a very slidey fashion. So I just wonder if that does bite them in the back at certain points in time. At the moment, on a personal best is Captain Foxy here. We'll just keep an eye on Anno on the left-hand side of your screen there. And currently he is just going through turn 7 down to Hurry Downs, which will then join turn 8. So it's only a couple of corners behind the car we are looking at right now. Through the right-hander carousel, now down to the straight. Now, a bit of facts about Road America is that this circuit, first opened in 1955, is mostly unchanged. Well, it's actually very much unchanged. The layout has remained the same since its opening, one of the few tracks in the world to do that, and the facilities here actually host a karting track and a now defunct off-road track which had a very famous blind jump called the Hellhole. Unfortunately, no haven't been able to find any footage of that since we started, but I'm sure that was very interesting back in the day. But of course, back to current affairs, and Foxy going through the final corner there, gets on the curb there, unsettles the car, sends a rear slide, but Captain, he catches it. And can he steer the ship onto pole position? We're about to find out. I don't think so at all. Yeah, he lost all sorts of time in the final sector, and after 4 laps on those softs, he must surely be thinking about pitting it in, as he is now on the grass, taking a very interesting line through here. As he, I think he must be a bit frustrated with the lap there, and well, if you teleport to the pits, he will be disqualified, as well. A couple of drivers found out last week. So now, Captain in a there you go. But disqualified. Thought he could get it back, but evidently cannot. So he will have to settle for second best on the timing boards for now. But evidently, Foxy getting a little impatient. So as it stands right now, he will be in what is now 6th position, as Teo has decided to join us, the French driver. He is coming in just now. Where is he? He is just going through turn number 6 there from the uphill and then to the downhill of Hurry Down. So let's keep an eye on Axel. I think he is about to start a flying lap in a few moments' time. Axel, of course, taking the win last week and of course putting it on pole position, so high contender for this week. But Charlie looks to have found a few tenths as well. Let's see what Axel can do as he starts yet another flying lap. Let's go on board with Axel here as he goes down the start-finish straight and going into turn 1. So here we go. So he should be down to about 4th or 5th gear. Indeed, meet that apex now. What defines track limits here is that all those white curbs there, of course, white and grey. I think they're really called hashes or something like that. At least that's what I heard Juniper call them while I was talking to them before the start of the session. But now here we go down the straight, which they call the Marine Sweep, which separates turns 3 and 4 and 5 just down here. Now here we go, going downhill just a little bit, lots of elevation changes down at Road America. Brake earlier than you would expect in these cars, and then of course you just go onto that hash curb there and then just continue on. And now uphill, blind left-hander through here, and then it's turn 7 down to Hurry Downs, then turn 8, and here we go. Can he get this right? Very easy to get this wrong. Looking like he's got that A-OK. Had to do a bit of a gear shift mid-corner, and looked like he actually had a bit of a moment on the exit there, so might not be the best. Through the carousel, which is turns 9 and then 10 on the exit. And now it's going to be a slight lift when they go through the kink through here, an iconic corner in its own right. No lift there for Axel, easily keeping it flat there. So I'm just wondering, if you've got the setup correct, you should be able to actually take this. And no difference at all between his personal best there. Needs to find something magical in the final couple of sectors. Canada corner is now his next target, and now it's the final couple of corners. Is he flat through here? Taking the curb as well, all flat through there, and now into the final corner, onto the start-finish straight. And he's looking like he's got that A-OK. Axel now to the line will be his potentially 3 flying laps if you include this one. What is the first time going to be? Needs to find 1 second and a third, and he's found at least 8 tenths there. So Axel now into second, nips Foxy off of the front running position. But now we look at Anno here, who really had a hard time last week. 4th place, though, out of the 6 drivers. Of course, 2 not finishing, which were Badir and Juniper Makova. And, of course, Juniper is hoping for a better result. She is just gone across the line now to start her final flying lap. And very wide through there. I wonder if that would be a very invalidation. Looked like they kept 2 tyres on that curb, but it was also very tight there. But looking at Axel now, looking like he is in a good spot here for 2nd place. But Charlie's also on a flyer, but down on his personal best. Will have 1 last lap to try and do something when he gets to the line. But also for Axel, we talked about 3 flying laps if you include his last one. But does he have the fuel for that? That would be another question that is needing to be asked here. At that moment, it looks like Charlie is all but safe for pole position as he comes through the final corner. through here. And now onto the start-finish straight. He'll go on to one final flying lap if he has the fuel. It looks like he does, but he is down on both his sectors for a personal best. And yeah, no, that is 2 seconds down, as Juniper will not improve. So that is 6th place for the American driver, but that's 2nd for the sprint. Giovanni Marcucci is now in 5th place as well. He's also on a final flying lap. Charlie is also on a flyer as well. He has just started his final fly, so it looks like he has enough fuel. Axel, of course, just set that 207.713, and if he has enough fuel, could go for one final fly. Needs to cool down the tyres, needs to get himself ready, and here we go. Oh, and Anno just across the line as well. He can have one final flying lap if he's got the fuel, but Foxy now out of the top 3, and Axel straight to the pits. So that is the end of Axel's qualifying session. So really, it is between Charlie and Axel. Well, Charlie and Anno in all reality, but I think Charlie has got that down, unless if Giovanni can find something. He's just set a personal best in Sector 1. Checkered flag is out for the 3 drivers still on track here. Down on his personal best in Sector 2 by nearly 0.2 of a second there. Through Canada corner he goes. Can he put this together to maybe give Captain Foxy more to worry about? Needs to be a magical Sector 3 in order for that to happen. Let's stay with the driver here. Bit of a lockup through the final corner, and I don't think that's going to be an improvement, but we'll stick with it anyway. Anno is just gone into the pit, so he won't go any faster, so we're just waiting on Charlie now. Giovanni to the line, and that is certainly not going to be an improvement, down by 0.3 there. But Charlie, is he on a flyer? I'm not too sure, actually. No improvements have come across onto the graphics there at the bottom of your screen. This might indicate that he is not on a personal best, but yeah, he's coming to the line anyway. All but Charlie in the pits. Let's see what he can do. Doesn't look like he improved at all there, so comes across the line, ending the session there, and Charlie, by just under 0.6 of a second, takes pole position ahead of Axel and Anno there into the top 3. But of course, one thing we do need to know is that these orders are going to be reversed for the sprint race, so that means Teo is going to be on pole position for the sprint, but otherwise for the feature, it is Charlie Lambertson in pole position for the feature. We are now going to disconnect from the session, and we'll be right back in a few moments' time. But otherwise, yeah, no real surprises there. But Anno really having a good qualifying. Juniper will be disappointed with that, I would feel. And so we'll be looking for improvement. And remember, a DNF'd from the previous race. So we're, of course, now going to go into a 15-minute sprint, and which we will then see what can be decided between 7th and 1st there. So I'm just trying to get the standings all in order so that we can just go through those very quickly. At least you can take a look at them while I just try to get back into the session here. But otherwise, it's going to be an entertaining one. Now, of course, just to let you know, one of the teams in the constructors says Strumming. Nicodem is currently, I believe, from what I've heard from Juniper, working on his car, so he will not be with us this evening. So, unfortunately for him, we'll be missing out on Road America, of course, one of the, like I said earlier on, one of the original tracks in the world that has kept its original layout. And so here you go. You can just have a look at the session, well, at the calendar just going into this. Of course, round 1 was in Brands Hatch. And then round 2 will be Road America, followed by the Toronto Street Circuit, then into Lagos for the next sprint. And then it will be into Sebring, of course, very bumpy circuit. And then it's Assen off to Europe, then Sweden, then Australia in Melbourne, then Kyalami, and then the finale in Portimao. Now, we're still waiting for everybody to get underway, so I will navigate between the standings and we'll just pop on some music for a be right back. So, don't go anywhere. Racing to come in a few moments' time. As you may or may not have heard, we are now getting ready to have the sprint underway. We are only a minute and a half from starting, so remember, this is reverse order, or so it should have been, I do feel like, unless if it's championship reverse order. But either way, Axel on pole position here, Anno in second, Foxy in third in a BMW apparently. Then it's Giovanni in fourth with Juniper fifth, and then sixth is Tio. So we are just missing one driver, and that is Charlie Lambertson. This is very much the qualifying order, if I'm not mistaken. Because Foxy's was fourth in qualifying, so apparently the order wasn't reversed there, so we are going to have... Are we going to have a bibber on a racing circuit? I think I am in the pits, as far as I can see. No, that's not the camera I wanted. I wanted to see if I'm... Yeah, I'm in the pits just there. So yeah, no worries there, I suppose. But anyway, we are now 40 seconds from seeing a BMW. Get off the line here, and somebody has left there, and that was Juniper leaving. And we are going to see a very interesting sprint for sure. Maybe a BMW a bit outclassed here against 5 radicals. But either way, I guess we have got some sort of interest now, as we are now 15 seconds away from getting things started. The lights are on the screen there, and we are about to have the countdown. So give it a few more seconds. And here we go. We're going to have 2 lights here. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6 red lights, but it's 4 lights at the bottom there. And we are not underway, apparently. Everybody has now been disconnected. So we are, unfortunately, given a denial on that one. So we'll just, again, sorry for the inconvenience here. These are usual Assetto Corsa issues. I'll just leave your calendar, leave the calendar up there just for you to look at, as we've already looked at standings. I will let you know once we're underway. Sorry for the extended delay, chat, but we'll be with you very, very soon. Don't worry. We don't go anywhere. We'll be with you in a few minutes. Well, everybody, I have some good news. All things on the server side are fixed. We have our reverse order, and as it is expected, it is Theo on pole position here for the sprint. We are 1.5 minutes from getting underway here. Captain Foxy stays where he is and is in the right car this time around. So we are now getting ready for the first race of the afternoon, at least here in the UK. And we are now just on the final stages of the countdown. So I'm just going to do one little thing because the start lights were just kind of in the way there. Of course, I'll find a way to get those properly implemented before the next round, and then which will be in Toronto. I can't wait for that one. Toronto, one of my favorite cities in the world. But now we are 1 minute away from getting started, and we will be underway very, very soon. So just to go through the grid, of course, Theo, of course, going in 7th in quali, gets pole position in the sprint. Then it's Juniper in 2nd, Giovanni 3rd, Captain Foxy remains where he was in 4th place there. Best of both worlds, really. Anno in 5th, Axel in 6th, and then Charlie Lambertson rounding out the 7 drivers taking part this afternoon, with Charlie Lambertson in 7th. He'll, of course, have pole for the feature. Now, could Charlie get a 3 in a row here where you get pole in qualifying, then a win in the sprint and a win in the feature? Very much possible, but Axel Osterberg will be looking to try and get his 2nd race win in a row. Remember, took the opening round by only mere 4/10 in Brands Hatch, but now the countdown begins. We have 3, 4, 5, 6 red lights. It's go in America, and it's a good start there from Juniper from 2nd place. We'll take the lead right off the line. Giovanni's also right there as well. We are going to go 3 wide into turn 1 for 2nd place here if we're not too careful. Bit of contact between Theo and Giovanni. Giovanni outside, Theo to the inside. That works out very nicely. One of the cars being forced wide there. That was either Foxy or Theo there. Foxy to the inside for turn 2, but gets himself all sorted out. But look at Juniper as there's contact between Anno and Axel in the background there. Sorry, it was between Charlie and Anno, beg your pardon. Then it's Axel who goes through and benefits from that. And Giovanni in 3rd place, but is that Theo? Yeah, I think it's Theo going down the outside there, or is it Foxy? Was that? No, yeah, it was Foxy down the inside of Giovanni, beg your pardon. So it looked like Giovanni was fighting that back with the slipstream, but could not do anything there. So now Theo from 1st to 4th in a matter of corners on lap 1. Really bad start for the driver here on his debut weekend. But Judy has just gone away, and from 4th, no, she didn't start 4th. She started in 2nd place, if I remember that correctly. So I don't know why the CMRT is saying that she gained 3 positions, but either way, from 2nd to 1st, and now Captain Foxy hoping to reduce that lead, but now under pressure from Giovanni. Let's see what he can do as we are now already approaching the end of lap 1. And at the moment, it is looking like it's going to be a very exciting occasion here, as now Charlie is putting Theo under pressure down to kettle bottoms, which separates the King from Canada corner, and now through to the right-hander. Charlie cuts off Theo, gets the overtake done round the outside, but that really looked more of a certainty than anything. And now that is Charlie up into 4th position here, and Axel there, well, somebody couldn't decide. That was Theo, couldn't decide if he wants to visit his alien overlords or not. So there we go, as Theo is visiting his alien overlords and straight into the pit lane, actually, for the driver. I don't think he's going to take any further part, as that kind of speaks for itself, in all honesty. So we'll just move away from that and try not to embarrass the driver. Try not to embarrass the driver too much. But look at that. 2.5 seconds on Captain Foxy as now Giovanni under pressure from Charlie, who of course has pole for the feature race later on. Goes down the inside for 3rd place and now has Captain Foxy in front by a couple of seconds there. So Giovanni losing out on the podium there. And here we go, Charlie having to go defensive. Giovanni again with the slipstream is going to try what he couldn't do to Captain Foxy on lap 1. And can he get the move done? Here we go, down the hill. And Charlie in the inside, Giovanni on the outside. And I think he's actually held that successfully. Good stuff from the Radical driver. And now it is going to be still Giovanni in third place. And Charlie a bit held up. And look at Anno. He's only half a second away from all of this. And he's now within touching distance. He could really ruin Charlie's day, as Teo has unfortunately left due to connection issues. As Charlie on the grass there, only got a wheel on it and contact, and Charlie is spun round by Anno. Nothing Anno could really do about that. It was between a rock and a hard place. Charlie spun round, and with 11 minutes to go, all of a sudden his charge is brought to a swift end after one little mistake, you would have to say. And now Juniper is 3.8 seconds down the road, and that might give a little bit of an indication where their pace is at as they go through the race here. Nearly half a second between the battle for fourth place. Axel not really gaining as many positions as he would like on his championship rival Charlie. So it's going to be very interesting as we go down into the feature race here, how this is all going to shape up. But already we have a very interesting race, but Junior's very much run away from this, and Charlie is getting onto the back of Captain Foxy again, as Juniper sets the fastest lap there, a 2:07.644 there from the American driver. So technically a home race for the American driver, but then of course we do visit Sebring later on in the season for round 5, so another crack and a home race there as well. But it looks like Giovanni has the best of Foxy for the time being. But of course, keep an eye on Axel in the background. He, of course, won last week. But Anno will doing a very good job to keep up with the driver there. And it's all kind of all fizzled out for the time being. And at the moment, Charlie is way too far back. 7 seconds in 10 minutes is essentially the target you are looking for. But already, I think that's already going to be a bit of an uphill climb. But here we go. Anno very close there as he approaches turn 5 from the marine sweep. His best laps, well, his last lap was a 2:10.472, with Axel's being the 2:09.346. So definitely Axel being the fastest driver here. I just wonder if he is carrying some sort of damage. Of course, part of the Sir Strumming team is Axel, and his teammate Nicodem, of course, working on his of course, what Juniper said, a Polish something box. I think I can leave you to fill in the contextual clues on that one. That moment is definitely under pressure from Anno, but just gets a bit of a gap from him through the carousel there. And Giovanni's still trying to find a way through the Italian driver, who I think has just popped on his headlights. Yes, he has there. So obviously needs to see his way through the daylight. I know they're called headlights, but I don't know if there's anything called daylights ever been invented for a race car, but certainly needing to see his way through the day, turns on the headlights on his Radical. And Axel is definitely starting to bridge a gap to Anno now, so Axel finally starting to stretch his legs in the Sir Strumming car, and is now trying to look at the back of Giovanni, as Juniper again sets another fastest lap at 2:07.5. Let's compare that to Captain Foxy. That's a 2:08.9, so that is over a second faster. And Giovanni with not really a good last lap there. Very much 4/10 slower. At the moment. So yeah, Giovanni struggling to get up to the back, but top 3 for him regardless. So there we go. Axel is also starting to get up to the back of this by 0.8 of a second here. We've got what is essentially a 4-car race for second place. So Foxy here, of course, just struggle with late race consistency, but of course he will have another race to come, a half an hour feature race to come for these drivers. And while there were 7, there are only 6 on track, so hopefully Teo can return and make this a 7-car feature. But of course we did have a 6-car feature last time out, and it was still a rather entertaining spectacle, and certainly a lot of stories playing out here, as Anno again has got a dive here down the uphill, and that is Axel cutting him off. And I think I don't know, I think Anno was trying it a bit hard there, but of course the stewards, if it is reported, will investigate that. And of course I made a mistake by assuming last time. But anyway, at the moment here, Axel certainly trying to do his best to get and to keep Anno behind and then try and gain ground, but losing ground thanks to that defense he had to put up on Anno just a couple of corners ago. Anno trying his hardest here, of course. And just let you know, Anno currently running with a G27 and a ThinkPad. Has to run a set, of course, on the lowest settings there. And, yeah, of course, on your right-hand side there, some wind info for you, blowing a slight breeze there of 2 miles per hour, southwest. And here we go. So Juniper with another personal, well, with the fastest up there. But I think that was the lap from last time around there. So a bit of a late delay there between the graphic and when the time was set there. But Junie doing a very good job here, dominating proceedings here at her home race. And there's Charlie in the background. And with 6 minutes to go, don't think he's got quite enough to catch up onto the back of Anno. But then again, if any of these two make a mistake, don't worry about that. He'll be right there with them, and hopefully challenging for a podium spot. But of course, I don't think there is, like I said before, there just isn't enough time here to get that done. But at the moment now, Anno certainly putting the pressure on Axel here. Giovanni's definitely dropping back from Captain Foxy. Is Captain checking out for second place. Anno to the inside again for the left-hander of turn 5 here. But oh my goodness me, it looked like Anno had the better line. So I wonder what's happened to Axel here. I wonder if he's just encountered some damage that we didn't see. Maybe contact with another car on the opening lap. But he is faster, seemingly, than Giovanni in front, but just doesn't have anywhere to go with it. So, and Foxy has actually caught up to Juniper, I think. So has Juniper made a mistake earlier in the race? Looks like they have. And Foxy's now within 2 seconds. Or those tyres have just... He is the only one on medium tyres, and they're working out with 5 minutes to go. Now within touching distance of leader Juniper, who has led the entire race from lap 1 after starting in second, got it off the line. And I now wonder if those soft tyres have just about gone and Foxy's in the driving seat for the rest of the race. This could be a fantastic race. There's going to be about 3 laps to go at the line. So hopefully everyone's fueled up correctly. But there you go, the gap down to 2 seconds there, when it started at about 4.5 seconds for Captain Foxy. Now let's just compare the times here. I just want to see if Juniper's made a mistake. As there you go, it does seem like she is struggling with something. She does like to have a bit of an oversteering car, so I just wonder if that's finally got a bit in her in the back, as we've said earlier on at 2:13. Yeah, definitely made a mistake at some point, and Foxy now putting her under all sorts of pressure as Anno is now alongside Axel Osterberg, which has been coming along for quite some time now, and Anno finds a way through. But now Axel will have the slipstream when he goes around the outside of turn 1, but nowhere to go with it. Anno up into 4th place, and they've checked out from that podium battle. Or have they? As I think Giovanni made another mistake through turn 1, and that car looking like it's struggling for grip. Anno here could be on for a podium. 0.6 of a second separate 4th from 3rd here, and we have one hell of a nail biter, as also the leader only separated by 1.7 seconds to Foxy. He could be on for his debut win here in AFR. This could be one heck of an epic ending to the race here, as now Giovanni is under all sorts of pressure from Anno and Axel behind. Charlie is checked out again, making another mistake somewhere, so that's sad news for Charlie. 22 seconds from this pack. He'll be very disappointed with this sprint, and will have a lot to work on going into the feature. Of course, you can make setup changes between the sprint and the feature, so there's no harm in all of that. But now through the carousel is Anno going to have another go down the start-finish straight here, as Juniper is starting to check out from Captain Foxy as well. 2 seconds separating Foxy from Juniper, so I do think that that battle has come to an end, but Junie needs to keep it together. Captain Foxy playing an absolute great card there to be on the medium tyres going into the race. Of course, keep an eye on Foxy there. And oh my goodness me, Anno with a mistake through Canada corner. That allows Axel through there. We're going to go side by side through here, but that might put a bit of a damper on the battle for 3rd there, as Anno is trying to come back. He can wait till the start finish straight. He'll have the slipstream. But then so will Axel on Giovanni. Giovanni not really able to check out by a greater margin there, as now he'll be under pressure from Axel going into turn 1. But then again, Anno is also very close in his own little right. He'll have better slipstream than Axel in front. Is Anno going to seriously try this again? It'll have to be into turn 1. Wasn't alongside enough, so has to back out for the time being, as we then see one of our sponsors not very beyond contact between Axel and Anno yet again. But they both point in the right direction. Anno pushing Axel through the corner of turn 1 and going very wide through there, overspeeding. But now I think that is a very safe bet. As now, look at Foxy. It'll be one more lap at the line, so they just crossed it. Of course, it's an average time of a 2:07 to a 2:10, depending on how your lap was. But of course, Foxy's tyres will be in better condition than the soft runners. He went on to mediums for this race, but just with a little mistake through turn 5 there. It's definitely lost some momentum, so we'll cut back to the battle for what is third place as of right now. At the moment, this battle taking our full attention. And now look at this, Axel getting very close to the back of Giovanni as they go through turn number 8 there from Hurry down south through the carousel. Giovanni will be under big pressure here as Axel will have the slipstream through the kink. And now Anno has checked out from this, 1.7 seconds. It'll be one lap to go, I think, although it is going to be very close. And there's Captain Foxy. One mistake from Judy will allow Foxy a window, and he will not be afraid to take it. Let's just make sure we can see the battle for third on the left-hand side here. And we'll cut back to this battle for the lead in just... well, we're looking at this for the time being, but look at how close Axel is to the back of Giovanni there. And now... no, it's not going to be the final lap. This is the final lap. Foxy won't be close enough. It is now going to be a victory for Juniper in the sprint race, leaving it enough time to get to the line, and she wins in Road America. Foxy's second for the sprint, and it will be Giovanni in third, holding off Axel, holding off Anno, who will respectfully take fourth and fifth there. And now Charlie, well, will be bitterly disappointed with his race. Unfortunately, just not quite getting it right. And he will come home in sixth place. Of course, Tio being your only non-finisher in that race. So now everybody will leave the server. At Juniper there, first win in AFR Radical Challenge. And it came in the sprint, but now that must give her all the confidence in the world for the feature. And there you go, Juniper, very happy indeed. Does her best impression, and I think yes, now it's Foxy in the grass there. Just doing his best lawnmowing impression, but there you go. So Juniper with the win in Road America for the sprint. We'll be back in a few moments' time where we will go through the feature race. But of course, Charlie will be looking for a bit of payback there. As he finished last there. But of course, Teo, if he is with us for another race, we'll be hoping for better as well. Don't go anywhere. More feature race action. 30 mins to come here in Road America. And as you can see there, we are now back with some action from AFR. It will be a half-hour feature race to take us through and finish the proceedings. And now we are just waiting. It is Charlie, of course, on pole. So these are now the qualifying results, which is Captain Foxy is the only constant there, staying where he qualified in both races. 4th position there. So Charlie on pole, Axel second, third is Anno, Foxy in 4th, as we've already said, Giovanni in 5th, and Juniper Makova in 6th position. So Teo not joining us for another race, and now we are 1 minute away. So patience will be the name of the game here in Road America. Half an hour based in the based at Elkhart Lake in Wisconsin. Will be underway very shortly, but of course it was Juniper who got the sprint race victory. It was a very close affair. And we will certainly see if she could go from last to first. And only 5 cars between her and Charlie. And of course, Charlie having a torrid sprint race. So maybe reverse fortunes could be happening here. We'll wait and see. 30 seconds to go until we are at the countdown for the lights. And then we'll be underway for the feature race. Of course, a 4-mile circuit, which is about 6.5 kilometers, 14 turns, and the race lap record held here around here by Alex Anadia, 141.874 in the old kart series. But here we go into the radicals. The second, well, technically the second race of the evening, third race of the season is 3, 4, 5, 6 red lights. It's going Road America, and Charlie there is lightning off the start there. It is going to be Anno who's going to put Axel under pressure again for second place this time around. And Anno is side by side, but there is, I think, somebody there trying to get involved. It's Giovanni. Oh, there's contact between Giovanni and Anno. They have come together at turn 1, and Anno, after a great start there, is spun round, and now Foxy could be up into second place. There is Judy in the background getting 2 positions after that contact, and now Axel and Foxy are going side by side. And now Judy, well, could be on for a victory here, but she needs to get past these 2. And now Foxy on the inside, Axel on the outside, going down from Marine Sweep down into turn 5. On the inside, Foxy, outside Axel. Foxy breaks lanes and gets the move done. Up into second goes the goes the Wazoo driver, and now he is going to be looking at a 3-second gap to Charlie, who of course is hoping to change around his fortune in from the sprint there. But now Judy will of course try and put a damper on things here. She's down the inside, bit of a lock up on that front right, gets the car stopped. Axel, the Swedish driver, is having to take avoiding action there. And so now Judy will have to remain in 4th position for the time being, but of course a long way to go. But already drama on lap 1, turn 1. Anno and Giovanni making contact. Anno at the moment retaining 5th place, and well, he's just going to have to be patient. But Giovanni right on to the back of Anno again, and hopefully no more contact between those 2, as now Judy again is down the inside of Axel Osterberg there. America versus Sweden, bit of contact between the 2, but nothing unfair, as Juniper now up into 3rd place there. And what a first lap this has been for her. And at the moment is now up and is now up into third from sixth position there. Oh, goodness me, but now she's lost it. Oh, no, and unfortunately, I have commentators cursed Juniper there. And now she does point in the right direction as Charlie is now across the line by nearly 3 seconds. Captain Foxy there. That is a long, long way to go for the German-Italian driver. And now, Axel has got nearly 2.5 seconds to make up on Captain Foxy here. And Anno very wide through turn 1 there. Don't quite know, didn't quite catch what happened. But now Juniper back down to 6th position. And now the field on spread by 11 seconds. But let's see if Foxy can put the pressure on Charlie there. 3 seconds separating him from a win. And at the moment now, Juniper very much having reversed fortunes. And like we said, it is very much Charlie leading from lap 1. And now we have got Juniper in a bit of a bad situation here, unlike in race 1. Well, Anno and Giovanni are fighting one another yet again. Of course, these two unfortunately made contact on the very last lap. And now, well, hopefully Giovanni can get past cleaner this time around, separated by 0.6 of a second. And Juniper making it a 3-car battle for what is 4th place right now. But of course, these lot may have to pit again. May have to pit at some point just for maybe a refuel, maybe a change of tyres as well, if they feel like it. Although I do think they will try to go to the end. If there is no mandatory pit stop, I don't think they will. I'll, of course, check the rule book on that. Just going to keep an eye on the action as well. But at the moment here, but yes, of course, Charlie having a great feature race, and all things considered, has led the first 2 laps of the feature. And is currently looking like he's on to take the win here, unless if Foxy can find something in the latter half of the race. But has about, I think it's going to be a 2-second gap to Axel there. So a lot of work for Axel to do as well. Of course, remember, Axel and Charlie were only separated by 0.4 of a second in the last race there. So, of course, Axel does have the pace to keep up, as Charlie there sets the fastest lap of the race. But does somebody behind have better pace? I don't think so, considering how the gaps are forming. Any one of these three gonna make a move. Let's see. Doesn't look like it as of right now. No, everybody remaining line astern this time, and very smartly so. So let's see what they can. Let's see what's happening here. So could anybody try and make a move down into the next straight? Juniper very wide through there. Usually, I was talking to her earlier on. She was taking that line a bit too much there, and said you don't really want to be on that concrete on the exit, just because of how low these cars are. So that's not the line she will have wanted to have taken. But it looks like it's given her the run. Oh, Giovanni, as we go down into turn 5 there, she's going to look down the inside, but not close enough to have a go. Just trying to throw the driver in front off their line at the moment. As now we look at Anno, still trying to hold off Axel there. Axel was trying to hold Anno off last time around, but no dice at the moment. So can confirm there is a mandatory pit stop per race, not required for the sprints, as we all saw, but for the feature, there will be one required. And the pit lane speed limit is, of course, 80 kilometers on all circuits, which I think rounds out to about 60 miles per hour, in case you need that. Now, I don't believe we have a race director here, so no safety car will be called. As now I'm starting to think that Juniper is beginning to line up the Italian Giovanni here. As Giovanni to the inside there, maybe a bit late, and now Juniper finds the space and down the inside through Canada corner, but no dice there. And at the moment now, Juniper still trying to find a way through, and it does seem fast. They do seem faster than Giovanni in front, as now again gonna have a run down the start-finish straight. Can she have a go this time around? And here we go, down the inside, down the start-finish straight. Oh, this should be academic, considering Juniper's skill set, and indeed it is. There we go. Juniper finally finds a way through at least one of the two drivers, and unfortunately on a recovery drive yet again, but very wide through there. Don't want to be doing that too much. And Briggs and Stratton there very much a sponsor here in Road America, but for the karting course. Not actually for the main. Oh, but Juniper wide again. But then Giovanni makes a mistake as well on the exit of turn number... turn number 3 there, actually. And so Giovanni wasn't able to capitalize on Juniper's mistake, but that's given Anno a bit of breathing space as well. And so we'll just cut away from the time being, and Axel is actually losing touch with Captain Foxy, who's checking out from the Swedish driver. But then you've got Charlie over 3 seconds ahead to the German-Italian driver, or the Italian driver based in Germany, I should say. But the 3 laps have concluded, looking like Charlie is going to be on course to take a victory here. And Juniper at the moment struggling through turn 8 yet again. Just looks like she is just snapping the rear end of the car there, and as she enters the turn. But unfortunately, still no dice at the moment. I think she is usually faster than Anno, but Anno has done a very top job in his defensive driving, especially against Giovanni in the sprint. So I don't think Anno will make that easy, and Juniper will be hoping that she can catch sooner rather than later, she would hope. Through Canada corner again, and at the moment the race has just checked out at the moment. Of course, we are waiting now for the pit stops to occur, and of course I would like to know what tyres the drivers are on. I do believe most will be on the medium tyres compared to the softs. As Charlie now sets the fastest lap, well, from last lap, that's a 2:07.986 there. So I think about 4/10 off of Juniper's fastest from the sprint race, but of course there will be heavier fuel loads in these cars for the feature just because of the fact it is a longer race. So of course lap times will be much slower this time around, as Juniper, wow, with a massive rear end snap there through turn 1. Certainly struggling with the car there. I'm just wondering if there is some damage that maybe we haven't seen as of right now, but looking like all composed through turn 2, but again, well, turn 3 in technicality. And as there is a bigger gust of wind there, but only at 6 miles per hour, I don't know if that would be enough to really knock these cars out of balance, but then again, that could be a tiny influence. There's Juniper there, yeah, you can see her struggling with that rear end there, as like, you know, just an update on the gap to the leader there, 4 seconds away between Foxy and Charlie, and that is, well, Charlie definitely has checked out by a long way away, and Juniper is 2 seconds away from Anno, while she's got 1.5 seconds on Giovanni there. So Giovanni having a miserable race of things as of right now, hoping for fortunes to turn around once they get into the pit stops. Well, it certainly will be probably one of the more straightforward races due to the nature of the track. I'm sure things will get a bit more lively once we get to the end of the race and once pit stops decide everything. But at the moment now, it's just very entertaining, as will be very entertaining to predict when everyone's going to come in. And maybe somebody will just begin to push that little bit harder once they've made, well, once they're getting close to their pit stop. So, of course, in-laps and out-laps will be the most important part now. That's the bit we're waiting on to see if anything can change in the order. But I think Charlie is very safe there in his first position. Well, at least for Juniper, despite taking the sprint race win, not having a great time in the feature race, Anno there as well is pretty much, I believe, where it is still the same place where he was, or I think he was he on the podium? No, because he wouldn't have been on the podium. I'm struggling to remember now. If anybody in chat can remember that, that would be very useful. At the moment, I think Juna is not really making any attempt to catch Anno here, as all 6 cars are very much spread out from one another. But Anno looks like he's got good pace this evening, at least to be within a shout of the top 3, although he's 5 seconds away from Axel, although that wasn't his own fault. Had contact with Giovanni on the opening lap into turn 1, and Giovanni was on the outside, Anno on the inside. Of course, I didn't see enough of the incident to make a full judgment on whose fault it was, but it looks like Juniper is starting to now get onto the back of the Spanish driver in front. And now 1.3 seconds, as you know, we see one of our sponsors, NordVPN. And of course, if you do want a VPN to keep you safe and secure, you can use code AFR at checkout for, I believe, it is 15% off there. So, of course, you can do that if you would like. 17.5 minutes to go into the race, and it is looking like it is Charlie's race. But I know, Captain Foxy has brought down that gap to 3.6 seconds. It was at over 4 seconds a couple of laps ago, so maybe a couple of tiny moments from the driver in front here. It looks like Foxy is doing a very good job. He was looking like he put pressure on Juniper towards the end of the sprint race as well. So don't forget, like, you know, he does keep something in reserve there. He is a very smart driver. And so, well, it will be interesting if Captain Foxy can indeed catch up towards the end of that race. So here we go, a second separating Anno and Juniper here, but Juniper will not be close enough to have a go, but at least we'll be getting within slipstream range. Now, of course, as we know, that's Juniper there with the fastest lap of the race, 2:07.972, and let's compare that to Anno's best. That was 7/10 faster. So yeah, Juniper starting to put her foot down and is going to start getting serious about catching Anno, and Anno very wide through there, through turn 1. I don't think that's allowed. You need to be on that white and grey mesh on the exit of the corner for that to be considered legal track limits here. And Juniper starting to put the pressure on. Can she find a way through sooner rather than later? We're approaching the halfway point of the race in a minute 15 seconds time. Oh, well, she really does need to try and get the hurry up on, and she will have 5 seconds to any cars ahead as she locks up going into turn number 5 there. And now through the slight uphill bend, and then, of course, it's a blind left-hander. You have to brake very early there as Anno is caught off guard there. And that might just give Juniper the window that she needs to get within slipstream. And it looks like Giovanni's had a moment as well. Dropped off by 5 seconds, 5.5 seconds now. As it's starting to look like it's the top 5 who are actually pretty close together. It's Juniper with a mistake, and into the wall she goes. And that is probably going to be the end of Juniper's race. And it's going to be, yep, so Juniper is gone. And now, Juniper, oh, that is such a shame. And she had a great sprint race, but the feature race goes all wrong again. Unfortunately for her, the race has come to an end here at Road America, like it did in Brands Hatch last week. I think she might have suffered some suspension damage, which mightn't have allowed her to get back into the pits. I'm sure that she will update us in due time, but we now approach the halfway point of the race, and we have got our first casualty in the feature. Juniper Makova, after a mistake in turn number 8, has had to quit the race due to damage on her car. Will not take any points away, I don't think, from this race, as she has not come across the line to finish. But now we only have 5 cars on track, and it's going to be Axel to try and catch up to Captain Foxy there. Of course, those two, but on their best laps, are only separated by just under 200ths of a second there. That's their best laps. I would like to see their last laps in all reality. So it was a 2:08.136, and, well, yeah, half a second there between Foxy and Axel there on the last lap. So Foxy doing a fantastic job matching the pace of Charlie there. As soon as I say that, see a lock up through turn 5 for the Italian driver. And now it's gapped at 3.7 seconds after that tiny mistake. So Charlie doing what he needs to do, staying consistent. And that's really the most important thing. But yeah, no, the 5 cars are now pretty much spread out by about 3 to 6 to 8 seconds now. And 5 seconds as well with the gap to 3rd and 4th. And so now it really is going to be just a case of getting to the end here, mistake-free. And Foxy can be prone to late race mistakes, so of course that'll be something to keep an eye on. But Charlie as well made a few mistakes in the feature, and so we'll be very much aware of that. But reverse fortunes for between the sprint and the feature. Of course, as we all know, Juniper has just rage quit from the session after taking what was, well, almost dominant win in the sprint. Captain Foxy certainly put her under pressure towards the end of that race, and then it was, of course, Charlie down in last, really struggling with the car. And now, well, Charlie is now very much leading the way, but Foxy hasn't let him go. Gap has remained at about around the mid-range of 3 seconds, but now, oh, that is a flying lap there from Charlie, and gets a bit of space there. And that is about half a second, nearly. Well, more like 4/10 of a second between Charlie and Captain. And, well, there you go. I think Charlie is going to begin to check out yet again. And now, yeah, it's looking like Anno is actually catching Axel here. So Axel's struggling with his tyres, potentially. And this could become a very entertaining race all of a sudden. At least it'll be for 3rd place. But Giovanni is just too far back. 10 seconds just about between him and Anno, which we are looking at right now. And Anno actually having a good race, all things considered. Having a good afternoon, for sure. And when our pit stop's going to come, of course, there are mandatory pit stops in AFR. And, of course, you do have to... Oh, a bit of grassy moment there from the Spanish driver. And looking like he's got that all sorted out, but really it is looking like it is going to be a very much a 5-car procession from here on out, as Anno at the moment is, well, still hovering around that 4-second gap, but I do expect Axel to begin checking out at some point, and then potentially putting pressure on Captain Foxy towards the end of the race. The gap is under 4 seconds, but it has remained that way for quite some time, so I don't quite know if Axel is just saving something towards the end of the race. But of course, remember, we will have to see what he's got in the bag. But then, of course, the air temperature here at about 15 degrees Celsius. Track temperature at a cooked 26 degrees Celsius. Here, humidity is at 50%. And so at the moment now, it's certainly a nice lukewarm race here for everybody, as now gap at 3.6 seconds for 2nd and 3rd. Gaps will update as soon as we come across the line. There we go, so that's all back to how it was. And yeah, it looks like Axel is starting to put the pressure on Foxy there, so gap is starting to come down. Let's see, and Axel, yeah, of course, you are allowed to go beyond the white line. Of course, of course, if you have just joined, track limits are defined by the white and grey mesh there. Oh, that's a bit too wide there from Axel. That's going to lose him a lot of time on Captain Foxy there. And I do believe that gap is going to increase by some more, but then again, it hasn't increased by much. Still at around 3.6 seconds despite that mistake, but then has seemingly increased through that moment at the exit of turn 3. But yeah, no, at the moment, as Giovanni, the first driver to make his pit stop, will of course make his way out, will have been a fuel stop. So there you go, he will come out in 5th place, but of course no one behind, as Teo and Juniper have of course finished their respective races, and 9.5 minutes to go. And now we have our first stop, and Axel has lost a lot of time actually, and now the gap at nearly 4 seconds. So it's certainly ebbing and flowing as of right now, and Foxy just keeping Charlie honest there with that 4-second gap. But of course now we're going to have to wait and see who comes in. 9 minutes to go, and it's Giovanni now on the softs till the end of the race, trying to attempt some sort of undercut here. But of course it's just too far back to make that work in all reality. Tyre age is about 9 laps, so in actual fact he's not done a tyre change, so that'll be why. Of course you usually want the mediums in this circumstance. So we're just waiting and seeing, will Charlie make a pit stop on this lap? Maybe I may do so, but no dice there. So on 10 lap old mediums goes Charlie, and then he'll be he'll start the 10th lap with 8.5 minutes to go, right on cue as well with 30 seconds. And there we go. So Foxy trying to still catch up to this. He's still within your frame, but is Charlie very much creating a gap to the driver behind. And as is everybody else, really, those gaps are starting to check out within the top 4. As then there's 5th place as well. Giovanni, of course, coming off his pit stop. And of course, keeping those soft tyres on. I'm very surprised he's gone with the soft tyres, considering how they will decay throughout the half hour that we have got. At the moment, yeah, Charlie has been very much the one above the rest in the feature. Of course, that was Juniper for the sprint, but Charlie has just really turned on the boosters and has gotten himself away from Foxy. Last lap was 2/10 faster than the driver in second, and 7/10 faster than Anno and Axel. And of course, Anno and Axel very much setting even times here. Anno faster, but by only just under 400ths of a second there. At the moment, I do think it's going to be very unlikely that anybody really catches each other, unless if there is a major mistake to come. Of course, I know Foxy, he will not be giving up on that lead as of right now, but I do think Charlie just has the best pace over everybody else. As there you go, 4 seconds. Basically between all the 4 drivers there in the top 4 are separated by 4 seconds from one another. And there we go, with under 7 minutes to go now. Surely somebody is going to be thinking about a pit stop. Let's go back to Charlie again. Foxy there, gaining a few tenths there through that corner. So I wonder if Charlie just had a small moment off camera that we didn't see there. Gap at now at 3.6 seconds. So surely, does Charlie come in? No. And now the gap at 3.5 seconds. So I just wonder if there is some mistakes creeping into Charlie's driving as we come to the end of the race. That lap was a 2:08.9 on the last go around with a 2:08.1. So yeah, definitely Charlie had a moment, and that was through Canada Corner, and that's where a big portion of that time has come from. It was a very early turn in there from the Italian driver Foxy there, so I'm just wondering if he's just not utilising the full track there, and that's why he's losing out to so many tenths. Charlie in front, but look, he's very consistent though. He's not made any mistakes as of right now. And here we go, 3.2 seconds now, and it's Foxy beginning to turn on the burners here and put the pressure on Charlie towards the end of the race. Foxy is looking like a man unleashed, so he's got that gap to under nearly 3 seconds, but then just a bit too aggressive into turn 5 there. But still, that gap is going down. 3.3 seconds, 3.2 seconds now, as he goes very wide through there, but this could be optimal. This could be one heck of a push. And now Foxy is beginning to make things exciting, as we are now going to enter 5 minutes to go. And looking like that car is really turning in there. And for Charlie, he might be starting to struggle, as now look, even Foxy is checking out from Axel in the background there. Now, gap at now at 5 seconds, as Charlie sees he is on the broadcast and is flashing his lights, going through the kink. As there you go. Charlie, you never fail to make me smile. Don't change who you are, please. No pit stops needed, says Nick. As Charlie there with a major mistake through Canada Corner, and now that gap that was at 3.3 seconds is now at 2.3. Foxy now, and we've just had news that no pit stops are required, so that is actually out the window. Giovanni did not need to make a stop. After all, despite the rulebook saying pit stops are necessary, that apparently has now been scrapped. So thank you, Nick, for coming in and letting us know. But 2.3 seconds now separating Captain Foxy and Charlie with just over 4 minutes to go. And there's going to be 2 seconds now, and it looks like Foxy has got the better of Charlie in these last few minutes. So despite the poleman despite the poleman leading for most of this race, it's going to be the final few minutes which decide everything. And again, remember, Charlie was in a reverse situation a couple of weeks ago. He had Axel. He was chasing Axel for the win of the race in Brands Hatch. And he had to go onto the back of him throughout the final few laps. Couldn't find a way through. Foxy will now be in that predicament, but big lockup. Hang on a minute, I may have misread then. No, it's of the radical rulebook. anyway, I'm okay. 2 seconds away from Charlie and Captain Foxy, as now we are seeing Captain Foxy really put on the pressure here. At least 2 seconds away. And he is really looking like it was. Remember, Charlie was in this situation, but it was in reverse. So now it will be. How long? How many laps will it be? Thank you, Sarah, for coming in and saying that. What the hell was that noise, Dave? It was my frustration. Do we need to call EMS? Sorry about that. I just needed a moment there. I do apologize. Anyway, 2 minutes to go, and I think, yes, this will be the final lap. I think Anyway, 2 minutes to go, and this will be the final lap of the feature race, and Foxy doing all he may on the best lap. He is 100th behind Charlie. But anyway, at the moment now, Foxy putting all the pressure on Charlie, who has led every single lap of this race, like we said already, but looks like he's going to have to hold off a bit of pressure from the Italian driver behind. There is only about 4 miles separating, and we have already done one of those miles, and one of these two drivers will come to the line to take victory. Does Foxy have enough tyres? Does he have the pace in store throughout this final lap? It is going to be quite an ask, but if Charlie makes one mistake on this final lap, Foxy will be right there to make sure he will take that away. But at the moment, Charlie looks like he's just staying consistent, trying not to make any further mistakes, and Foxy is just taking the car, just pushing the car as hard as he dares. 1.6 seconds going through the carousel. I don't think Foxy will have enough. He won't have a slipstream effect at that range, but if Charlie makes a single mistake here, it is going to be all said and done. And Foxy, you can tell, using all of the racetrack and more, while Charlie's just trying to be conservative. And it looks like to me Charlie will be home safe and sound as he goes through Canada Corner. This is where he made the mistake that brought Captain Foxy into the equation. No such mistake there. 20 seconds to go. And now it is going to be one last corner. Charlie, who was denied a win thanks to Axel's stubborn defense. No such stubborn defense here. Charlie, who took pole in qualifying, struggled in the sprint, but dominates the feature, will take the win in round 2 of the feature. And Charlie also takes home fastest lap of the race as Foxy takes a fantastic second place, with Axel home in 3rd place as Anno comes across the line in a lonely 4th, and Giovanni will eventually be home in a lonelier 5th position. But Charlie there with an absolutely dominant win as Foxy gives him a little bit of a bump. Oh my goodness me. Anno goes right into the back of Captain Foxy there. It's been clipped and archived. Don't worry. Oh, great. Okay, but anyway, we will then talk to you top 3. I will just need to gather up the sprint race results. But there you go. It is certainly, well, that was certainly a race there, for lack of a better word. But there you go, a bit of interest coming in. Of course, the real only drama point there, we would have to say, would be Anno and Giovanni making contact on lap 1 there. Of course, Anno to the inside, Giovanni to the outside. Or was it? No, it wasn't lap 1, was it? It was lap 2, I think it was. Let's just see here. As I just gather the sprint race results, we will, of course, be taking post-race interviews from the drivers. But now we are certainly going to try get a word with just about everybody. As that is the qualifying. Alright then, I'm just going to take a couple of minutes just to get everything ready, and then we will take it from there. But otherwise, we'll be right back in just a few moments with post-race interviews from your top 3. So, of course, we'll be right back in just a few moments' time. Don't go anywhere, and we'll have a word with the top 3 drivers. Right, I'm very sorry to announce, but I don't think we will have any post-race interviews, so we are just going to kind of leave it there for this evening. I do just want to thank everybody for tuning in, but I just kind of want to let you know, of course, just to confirm, if you have just joined us, well, you've certainly missed an evening and a half. We are now going to just go through things very quickly from here. It is going to be next, not next week, but 2 weeks' time. We'll be back for the Toronto Street Circuit. And then the week after, the couple of weeks after that, it will be then the sprint race in Brazil. Then we'll be off to Sebring. And then, of course, the rest of the races will take place in the Netherlands, Sweden, Australia, South Africa, and then, of course, Portugal. So, of course, I do just want to thank everybody for tuning in today. We'll leave off with a message from our sponsor, NordVPN. Use code AFR to get 15% off, and we'll take it from there. So otherwise, guys, from myself and everybody at AFR, we all thank you very much for watching, and it has been an absolute pleasure to broadcast the race to you tonight. Sorry if things weren't quite as entertaining, but hopefully in 2 weeks' time we will be back again. Don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit the bell notification to be notified of whenever we post a video or whenever we go live. And we will then go from there. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching, and from wherever you may be in the world, we wish you all a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Stay safe, stay alive. Thank you all again.
This stream is driven by NordVPN, the leading VPN to protect your online activity. Safeguarding your identity and data is as important as ever, and NordVPN's threat protection feature can guard you from malware, ads, malicious sites, and trackers. NordVPN allows you to virtually place yourself in over 59 countries worldwide with access to over 5,500 servers, all while maintaining purple sector speeds over the competition. NordVPN also provides extra features compared to other similar services, such as no bandwidth or data limits, highest industry speeds, allowing 6 simultaneous connections, and no data logging. Also interested in password management or cloud data storage? Well, NordPass and NordLocker have you covered there too. Check out NordVPN using our link nordvpn.com/AFR with a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee, and use code AFR to get 1 month extra free.